In this sequence of videos, I wanted to look at the idea around stress, I want to look at the idea around resilience, I want to look at ideas around coping strategies and when coping strategies are useful and when they're damaging. And I want to start this off by looking at the idea that stress is actually a really useful response. If you look at deer, out in the wild, when a deer gets stressed, what does it do? It runs. You see the body language, you see the response, you see that heightened sense of awareness, you see them run. Once they've finished running, what do? Because what deer do is a very natural response. What deer do is they run away. They use fight or flight, they disappear off, and then once they've run, they stop. They carry on eating, they just carry on. What they don't do is they don't go and moan about it on social media. They don't go down to the pub and tell their friends about it. They don't go home to their partner at the end of the day and tell them what their life was like, what the day was like. They're just there, they're just doing it. And this is where the stress response works really, really well. The stress response works superbly well in the moment. But what we have a tendency to do in modern life is we tend to take the stress response and find ways to manipulate it that don't necessarily work. So one of the things that I'm guilty of, and we'll look at this within the coping strategy piece, is that I will do things to de-stress myself once a day. So maybe that is, I used to cycle to work, and I live in rural Suffolk, so it was a beautiful ride to work, a beautiful ride from work. It was fantastically de-stressing. Sometimes I'd come home and I'd cook, fantastically de-stressing. Sometimes I'd spend long times in my Qigong practice, fantastically de-stressing. But if you compare this to the deer, it's almost like you're saying that, I know a really clever way to do this. Let's have one really big runaway at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, and then we don't have to run away during the day at all. And this isn't good for the health, because the stress response creates a chemical response within the body that enables us to do stuff. It enables us to work more effectively, it enables us to go into fight or flight or challenge responses or any of the other stress responses that exist. But in doing so, it takes energy, it takes resources away from other parts of the body. So it does remove things from the immune system, it removes resources from the digestive system in order to focus them into areas that the body makes that call as this is an important place. So doing your one big stress thing every day or doing your one big stress thing every week is great, because what it does is it helps to normalize those levels. But it's far more effective to find ways, a bit like the deer, of allowing that to disappear in the moment. A stress comes in, let it go. A stress comes in, let it go. It's this technique that will actually sustain you significantly longer. This is what really builds up resilience. Is the idea that you can allow things to come in and you can recognize them, deal with them, let them go. Recognize, deal with, let go. So a lot of the work around stress for me is based on these ideas. We will look at coping strategies in the next video, and then we will go on and look at a few other aspects of stress. But if you'd like to find out more, please carry on watching this series. Or look us up at the Green Chair, find me on LinkedIn, ask me questions, book me to do stuff. Thank you very much.